Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
And of course, this series is made possible by our sponsors, like BetterHelp. I Spent a Day With is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sponsorships allow us to continue this series. You know we got a second sponsor. I can't go without thanking BetterHelp. I'd also like to thank BetterHelp Online Therapy for our continued partnership.
BetterHelp for their continued partnership.
And I'd also like to thank our sponsor BetterHelp for their continued partnership. I'd also like to thank our sponsor BetterHelp for their continued partnership. And I'd also like to thank our sponsor BetterHelp for their continued partnerships. And you know I also can't go without thanking BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. And you know it's time to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. And I would love nothing more than to talk about BetterHelp for just a quick second. BetterHelp Online Therapy. 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 Because sometimes existing is exhausting. 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 Existing is exhausting. Because sometimes existing is exhausting. Sometimes existing is exhausting. Existing is exhausting. Existing is exhausting. Sometimes existing is exhausting. Sometimes existing is exhausting. Sometimes existing is exhausting. Existing is exhausting. Sometimes existing is exhausting. Existing is exhausting. Sometimes existing is exhausting.
Because sometimes just existing is exhausting.
It's true. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting like you know what you should do, good for you, but you just can't seem to do it? And I would love nothing more than to talk about BetterHelp for just a quick second because they're sponsoring this episode, and let me tell you why that is so cool. If you've been keeping up with this series, as I'm sure many of you know, I've been a huge advocate of therapy, I'm a huge proponent of therapy. I've been a huge proponent of therapy for a while now. If you've watched the show for any length of time, you know that therapy has helped reframe my view of the world. If you've been keeping up with this series, you know that therapy has been really beneficial in shaping who I am today. If you've been keeping up with this series, you know that therapy has been really beneficial in shaping who I am today. As I'm sure many of you know, I've been a huge advocate of therapy since I started going about 6 years ago. It's helped me in almost every facet of my life. By allowing me to have empathy for my younger self, by allowing me to feel empathy for my younger self, empathy for my younger self, and therefore, of course, feel empathy for my current self. So let's say you struggle with anxiety or stress, whether dealing with anxiety or depression, anxiety, stress, insecurity, anxiety or depression or stress or insecurity, anxiety, depression, or thoughts that keep you up at night, depression, anxiety, stress, insecurity. Therapy can be customized to whatever's right for you and can be useful whether you're dealing with anxiety or depression or the holiday blues or just the day-to-day struggles of being human. Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back. Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. Therapy has been a guiding light for me. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded. Therapy helps you stay connected as you navigate life. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit BetterHelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausting. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'll be spending a day with people with PTSD. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'll be spending a day with people with kleptomania. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'll be spending a day with people with bipolar disorder.
As God.
I just want to take a moment to reiterate that these videos are not intended to diagnose any condition or disorder. I encourage anyone who feels that they might relate to any diagnosis of the guests in these videos to do some additional research and consider a proper diagnosis from a licensed professional. And that brings me to our sponsor, BetterHelp. So thanks again to our sponsor, BetterHelp. So thank you to BetterHelp. Huge thank you to BetterHelp, who are giving I Spent a Day with viewers and listeners 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Padilla. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. That's better H-E-L-P. Okay, I will say it one more time, so listen very closely. H-E-L-P. BetterHelp.com/Padilla.
Before we learn more about these incredible survivor stories, I'd also like to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp.
With that said, I can't go without thanking BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode for very obvious reasons. My name's Anthony Padilla, and today I'll be spending a day with psych ward survivors. I'm Anthony Padilla, and I spent a day with human trafficking survivors. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Visit BetterHelp.com/Padilla because sometimes existing is exhausting. Now, before we get into your full story, can you give us a brief synopsis of your kidnapping?
I think that made me a bit stronger. Now, like I see like people dying, I see like I find myself like it's part of life.
And I can't go without thanking BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Dissociative identity disorder. Nin.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming out and teaching me about the wondrous world of dissociative identity disorder.
Anthony, there is so much to learn. I consider myself being part of a DID system. So you could say somebody with dissociative identity disorder, or if you wanted to refer to us collectively, it would be saying that I'm part of a system of alters. Go follow us at Dissociated, and also if you're looking for somewhere to feel safe, there are loads of Facebook groups. We took the DES2, which is the Dissociative Experiences Scale. So we started with that. My score was well over 30. It was 86.87. Right, I'm dissociating now. And
Take your time. Let me know whenever you're ready.
I wanted to answer the question.
You can answer it.
Oh no.
Let me know when you want me to ask it
There's
again for
somebody
you.
else here, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Do you want me to set you up with a question again? Do you want to answer this?
I don't know what's going on.
Do you want me to explain to you what's going on? We're in the middle of an interview about DID.
We have DID.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And that's what you're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Have you been a bad boy?
Yes. Yeah? Oh, you're keeping it real tame. Yeah, that was about 10. Oh, okay, that was at 35. That was definitely a 35er right there.
How much of a bad boy have you been?
Probably 50%. Oh, mommy.
In July of 2023, BetterHelp was officially charged and penalized for sharing health questionnaire answers and other data with advertising. BetterHelp used and disclosed information obtained from consumers through the intake questionnaire and sign-up process for advertising. And in 2018, CEO Alon Matas published a Medium post that said, quote, "One of the favorite conspiracy theories was that our business model is selling data to third parties. We are in the counseling business, not in the data business. It also goes without saying that counseling is a strictly regulated space and selling such data would be a gross violation of federal laws, state laws, HIPAA regulations, and our own terms and privacy policy." Okay.
BetterHelp.com/Padilla.
Padilla, like you make a quesadilla with a tortilla.